Hello everyone, welcome back. I want to show you guys this slide that I got in from Hooper Gunworks. Okay, I've ordered lots of barrels from them before. I don't think I've ordered a slide from them before. Now, really interesting story here. This is a factory GLOCK frame, and here's the thing. I don't shoot a whole lot of 40 cal. I mostly shoot 9mm. I buy it in huge bulk. Most of the people that I train them on 9mm. But occasionally I get somebody that wants to, that wants to be trained on a 40 cal, even if it's like their first time shooting a gun. So I really don't like starting people off on guns that just have iron sights. I like starting people off on guns that have optics. Okay, I want to see that they can hit the target first with an optic before, we move on to iron sights or just iron sights. It's just one of the things I have found that works a lot better. Also, I have found specifically with women, they enjoy shooting guns that have optics a lot better. Obviously, I don't start them off with 40 cals. But one of the things I noticed many years ago is when I started putting red dots on ARs, the women really liked shooting the ARs. They didn't like shooting the pistol so much. When I started putting optics on pistols, I saw that now that equalized. They like shooting the pistols as well. So the optics really make a big difference, okay? Especially when you're introducing a gun to new shooters. So here I had a GLOCK 22, and here's the thing. I was considering building an aftermarket, a complete aftermarket GLOCK 22 clone, but I had seen and heard many reports of the aftermarket frames, right? And I'm not going to say the name of this because I don't want this video to get, flagged by YouTube. But I had heard that these aftermarket frames were cracking with high round counts of 40 cal. Okay, and I don't know if they were shooting plus Ps or whatnot. And there weren't a lot of reports out there, right? But there was a few coming through. None of the people that had said that their aftermarket frames had cracked had said that they were shooting 9mm. So that's one of the things that made me hesitate building an aftermarket GLOCK 22. But I wanted to have optics on this GLOCK. So what I decided to do was to get an aftermarket slide and put it on my factory GLOCK, because I know this gun over here already has about 15,000 rounds on it, right? So I know that GLOCK. I know originally, like back in the 80s when they were making GLOCK 22s, right? When they started making these the 40 cals, I know that the Gen 1's factory GLOCKs were also having problems with cracking, and I understand that they fixed it. They figured out how to fix that, but I don't think that this aftermarket company has figured that out yet. So what I decided to do is put an aftermarket slide on this frame, and basically I've got everything I need. Okay. Now, interesting thing, I was shooting this earlier, and I've been so spoiled by the grip, by this type of a grip, that this Gen 3 grip actually feels really uncomfortable, and particularly under here, right, where your finger gets underneath the guard, especially with the 40 cal, which has a little bit more recoil. That beats the hell out of your middle finger right here. I had heard, a friend of mine had mentioned that a couple of months ago, and I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. It didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, I shoot guns all the time. What do you mean that? But because I haven't shot this in a long time, or a lot, because today I'm shooting a lot because I'm testing it out. And there's a very different cut here compared to here. This cut here is wider. It's a lot more, it's a much bigger curve. This cut here is a lot smaller. Okay, that's just a difference I had not noticed before. I'm sure other people have noticed it, but I have not noticed it before until today, and specifically shooting the 40 cal. When I shoot if I shoot a factory GLOCK 17 or 19, I don't feel it as much. Obviously, the recoil is a lot less. But with the 40 cal, I did start feeling it a little bit more. So this slide here, which is basically the focus of this video, is from Hooper Gunworks. I kept the original barrel in there. All the internal parts are original. I did order a stainless steel aftermarket barrel because I think that the stainless steel would highlight the cuts a little bit more, right? It'll make the cuts stand out a little bit more. So I decided to get the stainless steel barrel. But that's that's just so it looks cooler. Okay. But the main thing is I needed to get an optic on here. Now there is a reason for having the cuts on here besides just aesthetics. There's a certain balance between, that the weight has to have in order to properly cycle, right? So if you start adding weight onto the gun, you can throw off that balance a little bit, right? Make the slide a little bit too heavy. It may not cycle as reliably with different types of ammunition, all right? I don't know what that point is, but at some point, if you put enough weight on there, it's going to stop working. So part of the reason for the cuts is to offset the extra weight of the slide, okay? So that's the practical reason of having cuts on your slide when you mount an optic. Now, the other thing to be aware of, though, is when you put cuts in the slide, if you drop this in the dirt or the mud or the sand, now you're gonna get basically dirt in the internals of the gun, into the guts of the gun, basically, right? Because the barrel slide lockup has to be really smooth. So that's one of the downsides of having the cuts on the slide, that in harsh environments, you can get stuff in there that you don't want in there. So there's a trade-off. You just gotta be aware of it. Okay, if you're not planning to be rolling around in the mud with your gun, the cuts will be fine. If you expect to be, up to here in mud, right? That may be an issue. You may want to get a slide without cuts, which I also have. I've also got a couple of those for that reason. So this slide is from Hooper Gunworks. It's called the Lightning Cut RMR slide. It was $193. Was there any extra shipping charges? I don't think so. No, I think it was $193 shipped. Let's just round up and say $200. Now, part of the reason why I decided to do this is because today is April 10. There's been a lot of rumors that this coming week the ATF is going to finalize the frames and receivers ruling, okay, at some point this week. And I don't know what that's going to do to the availability of things. So this is like one of those things that I had kind of been going back and forth trying to figure out what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to actually build an aftermarket from scratch, complete, or if I just wanted to get the slide. And I decided, hey, just go ahead and get the slide. Down the road, I mean, I got plenty of these aftermarket frames that, hey, if I want to go back and build one, I can always build one. Let's put a couple of rounds down range with this. Okay. So again, we're shooting the 40 cal. Now, normally I am right-handed. When I'm testing the gun out, I put it in my left hand, right, and I shoot it one-handed. That's how I know that the gun is going to cycle well. I put it in my offhand, shoot it one-handed. Okay? What are we shooting at here? We're shooting at about 40 feet. But yeah, gun works fine. Slide's working good. Everything's working good together. Really happy. Glad I got the idea to get the slide, put it on my aftermarket frame, because it takes care of the concern that I had that these frames might not hold up so well to the 40 cal. Now, if you're building these like in 45 or in 10 millimeter, they use an upgraded frame, okay? But the same frame is used for the GLOCK 17 and the GLOCK 22, right? So your 9 millimeter and your 40 cal get the same frame, and that's how GLOCK originally had designed it as well. So that's also a problem. This is working really good. I now have a GLOCK 22 which shoots 40 cal with an optic on it, and I'm really happy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you, like I said, the market's going to start, I think the market's going to dry up. Okay, as soon as this finalized ruling comes out this coming week, I think that you know, I mean, I know it's going to be challenged in court and all that stuff, but who knows how that's going to go. I'm sure they're going to ask in court for a delay, and I don't know if that delay is going to be granted. You know, if the delay is not granted, basically this market is going to close in about 60 days. Okay, what that means is that that would mean I think in the next 60 days, it's still going to be permissible. I don't want to say legal because it is legal. It's just that, you know, because the ATF is not supposed to be making laws, right? And here's a case that they're making laws. So if there's not a stay that's put on this in court, what's going to happen is, from what I hear, it's in 60 days. It's no longer going to be permissible for companies to sell this. Now, it doesn't mean that you're required to turn in yours in. All right. They know that they can't go out there and collect the millions that are already out there, right? I mean, there's just too many of them out there at this point. But what that means is you're not going to be able to buy these things, right? You're not going to be able to buy them. So, you know, you can't just sit there and say, hey, I'm not going to comply. Yeah, well, they know you're not going to comply. What they're going to do is they're going a step above you, right? They're going to the people that sell it to you, to your suppliers, basically. Because there's less of them, and it's easier for them to focus on them and control them and penalize them and make their lives very difficult. So that's what they're going to focus on. Okay, so yeah, I agree. You know, shall not comply. None of us are not going to comply, right? You know, but they're not really targeting us at this point. They're targeting our suppliers. So hope this video was useful for you guys. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. Look for me on Absolute Guns, which is a new channel I've set up. Also, I have channels on Odyssey, on Rumble. You know, I'm everywhere. Just search my channel name. You'll find me. I keep doing this because I'm trying to stay ahead of YouTube and you know, with the strikes and the deleting of videos and all the nonsense that they do, all the suppression of free speech that they do. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon. Hey everyone, I forgot to add a really important bit of information on the optic cut. Okay, it does not have the little optic posts that come up and insert into the optic. Okay, so some people refer to them as bosses, as studs. You know, but it's these little studs that come up and insert into the optic and basically take the stress off of the screws. All right. Now, on some slides, the tolerances are really tight, so that basically there's no room in front of the optic or behind the optic, so that the steel in front and behind holds it in place. That's not the case here, right? There's it's really small, but there is a little tiny bit of space in front of the optic and behind. I mean, I don't even think you could put you can't even hardly put a piece of paper in there. But if you put the optic on here and you go like this, you'll see that it'll go click, click, click. It will move back and forth, okay? And that is actually the reason, I just remembered, that is the reason why I did not buy this slide several months ago, because I had looked at this slide. I had considered the possibility of purchasing it and building an aftermarket Glock 22. And the thing that held me back was the fact that it didn't have those little posts, because I had noticed the first build that I had done was a G17, and same situation, and over several thousand rounds I noticed that the screws started coming loose. Okay, now the difference here is the reason why I said, oh, okay, what the hell, I'm going to get it anyway. Number one, it wasn't too expensive, right? Number two, with the 40 cal, I'm not going to shoot as much. Okay, so with this gun over here, okay, this gun's already up to like 12,000 rounds. Okay, you know, it's very typical for my G17 aftermarkets to do, you know, to do 1,000, 2,000 rounds a month. Okay, this might do 1,000, 2,000 rounds in the whole year. So because the round count on the 40 cal is going to be so much lower, I decided that, hey, not that big of a deal. I'll just check I'll check the, you know, every once in a while I'll double check it, make sure the screws are tight. But I just want to make you guys aware that it does not have those little posts. The tolerances are not tight. And like I said, we're expecting this ruling to come out in this coming week. So I don't know what the availability is going to be of these slides in the future. So basically that's the reason why I said, okay, I'm pulling the trigger now. I'm getting this slide. You know, for only whatever $200, I'd rather have it, and then at some later point in time, if something else becomes available, you know, I can always get that too. Okay, but right now this is available on eBay. That's where I ordered this. Hooper Gunworks. You could probably get it directly from their website as well, but that's where I found them. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon.